Right now on Denver 7 News at 5 o'clock, more fallout over the leaked abortion draft decision from the Supreme Court. We have 360 in-depth coverage on the investigation into who leaked it. We have two different stories from women who have had the procedure and what Colorado lawmakers are doing to reinforce reproductive rights.
4 months after the Marshall Fire, Boulder County leaders want people to rebuild with more fire-resistant materials. We're taking a closer look at the proposal the County Commission will take up.
And the Avs are on the ice again tomorrow after they pounced on the Predators in Game 1. We have highlights from Ball Arena as the team gets closer to hoisting the Stanley Cup. Although still a long way to go, but they are off to a great start. 5 goals in the first period. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. It's going to be another wet day across the state. Lisa is here. We saw some wet weather out there this morning. Temperatures going up, though.
Again, I'm not complaining. We need this. It's going to be really nice. You're right, though. A lot of cloud cover out there this morning. We're at this point in the 40s. We're going to see 50s this afternoon. You can see the storm bringing a good dose of snow to the northern and central mountains. Northern Front Range Mountains up and through Rocky Mountain National Park picking up at least a couple of inches of snow this morning. Jason will have more on the roadways up there coming up. But down here, the roads are damp. We had some overnight showers and a few storms. Those moving out overnight, but we're left with quite a bit of cloud cover. You might even see a little drizzle early this morning and areas of patchy fog through the early morning drive. It'll be a really slow warm up today. We're going to be in the upper 40s by noon, low to mid 50s for highs today. Denver right around 50 to near 55, 40s for the foothills. Pretty chilly, it looks like, this afternoon. Coming up, I'm going to show you the timing of some of today's rain showers when this all moves out, and it looks like we're going to be about 25 to 30 degrees warmer than that, Jason, by the end of the week. Details coming up.
And may the force be with you. And I say that because if you're pretty much riding the Millennium Falcon, if you're going to be driving up to Estes Park on Highway 7, you can see how much snow, and so that snow will be coming at you pretty fast and furiously, but the roads are mostly just wet where I'm seeing this snow up there near Estes Park. Take a look at the drive that we have here in Metro Denver at 6th Avenue. Very wet conditions, just a little bit of splashback, so shouldn't really be that big of a visibility problem. Some drizzle on your windshield maybe, but there are still some slick spots out there. And as far as drive times, it looks pretty standard. Speeds are near 70 now on I-76, so a little bit higher than I would suspect or would like to see people driving here with the wet conditions, because there are still some slick spots out there, but for the most part, it's a pretty wide open drive anywhere you want to go right now.
All right, thank you, Jason. Well, our country's highest court is doing damage control today after a leaked draft decision revealed justices are leaning towards overturning Roe versus Wade and the right to an abortion.
This morning, we're going 360 in-depth on the fallout. We'll take a closer look at the investigation into who leaked the document, and we're also hearing from 2 Colorado women with different perspectives after having abortions.
Also, Colorado lawmakers are working to strengthen a new law protecting access to reproductive care, including abortion. Denver 7's Christian Lopez kicks off our coverage from our newsroom this morning. And Christian, Chief Justice John Roberts ordered an investigation into who leaked this document.
Yeah, Chief Justice Roberts called the leak an egregious breach of trust, and he vowed that any attempt to undermine the integrity of the court would not succeed. The investigation will be led by the marshal of the court, who is also in charge of the Supreme Court's own police department as well. But it's not clear how much experience they have conducting an investigation like this, because a full decision has never been leaked before. But if they did find evidence of a crime, CNN reports that they could refer the case to the Justice Department for prosecution. But there's a very small group of people who could have had access to that document, just the 9 justices and the people working within their chambers. So that's about 50 people in total.
The clerks who work with the justices sign an oath that promises that they won't divulge secrets of the process. And there is a very, very small group of people that would be in a position to see a draft opinion and leak it.
Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser, who is a Democrat, called this uncharted territory and says it's going to be very hard for the Supreme Court to gain back the public's trust.
Chief Justice Roberts is worried about the legitimacy of the court. And this decision, coupled now with this leak, is a dagger to the court's legitimacy. This is antithetical to how the Supreme Court has operated. as an institution committed to a deliberative process that is in a trusted environment. This is a breach of trust.
And you may be wondering why Chief Justice Roberts doesn't call for the FBI or the Justice Department to investigate like some lawmakers have. He's known for trying to refocus the court to its original role of restraint and the separation of powers. Court watchers say he'll try to avoid getting those agencies involved since they're part of the executive branch. Live in the newsroom this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Interesting. Thank you, Christian. Well, this morning we are also hearing different perspectives from women. We spoke with two who both had abortions, but now with very different experiences and opinions about them. Selina said she felt like it was the right thing to do for her at the time.
Not just financially, but I think physically and emotionally, I would not be as healthy of a person as I am right now. Abortion care doesn't have to be traumatic. It's societal stigma that traumatizes people.
Rachel, on the other hand, said she regrets having an abortion and does not believe she had the moral authority to take a life.
I made that decision really early in the pregnancy. I think I was trying to run from my consequences, from the experience. I had made the choice to end a life, and I did that pretty deliberately, honestly. But I thought it was worth it for the future that I wanted.
Well, with or without Roe versus Wade, Colorado allows abortions. That right was put into law this legislative session, but it doesn't mean it's permanent. It is a statutory change, meaning lawmakers or voters could undo it with a simple majority vote. There's an effort now to create a ballot question that would put the law into Colorado's Constitution. It's in the works for 2024. Anti-abortion groups are also working on a measure of their own. Initiative 56 would ban abortions at all stages of pregnancy, except for just a few rare instances, like to save the mother's life. Supporters are in the process of collecting signatures to officially get it on the ballot.
Abortion has been one of our country's most divisive issues for more than a generation. In a new poll from ABC News and the Washington Post, 54%. Just over half of Americans said the Supreme Court should uphold Roe v. Wade. 28% said it should be overturned. In the same poll, 70% said the decision to have an abortion should be left to a woman and her doctor. 24% surveyed said it should be regulated by law. Our 360 in-depth coverage will continue in our next half hour. We'll look at what this decision could mean for other recent SCOTUS rulings, including same-sex marriage.
A proposal for statewide green building codes is going before the state Senate today. It passed the House by one vote on Monday. The bill calls for the State Energy Office to create an advisory panel to create energy efficiency standards and rules to make sure buildings are ready for things like solar panels, electric vehicle chargers, and all electric heating and cooling systems. State estimates show residential and commercial buildings accounted for about 14% of greenhouse gas emissions in 2019. In the aftermath of the Marshall Fire, local leaders want homeowners to consider building with better materials that won't ignite or burn. A proposal to change the Boulder County Building Code is going in front of county commissioners. Right now, the standards only apply to the county's foothills communities. This change would extend to the flatlands as well. And some signs of progress. The town of Superior shared this photo. Terry and Ed here received the first rebuilding permit in original town Superior.
Nice to see there. The Colorado Avs are off to a good start in the playoffs. The Avalanche won game one of their series against the Predators, and it was a blowout, 7-2. The Avs put on quite a show last night at Ball Arena. Game two is tomorrow night. It's been 21 years now since the Avs last won the Stanley Cup. Wow, Lisa, I'm sure you remember it well.
I do. I was young, I was wrinkle-free, yeah. No, that was fun to watch. You could have stopped watching that game, in the first 10 minutes. Thursday night for that game here, puck drops at 7:30. We're going to be in the upper 60s, a really mild night tomorrow. Highs are going to be right around 70 on Thursday, 50s by about 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Coming up, though, we're going to get you through the next 24 hours. More rain and more snow on the way. It's coming down pretty good in the northern Front Range Mountains right now.
Yeah, we are getting mostly wet roads up there, even though that snow is coming down pretty good for us right now. You can see, so we also have some wet roads up in the high country. We have wet roads here in Boulder, so it's going to be a sloppy drive, splashy drive in some places. Loveland Pass, speaking of the high country, remains closed down right now because of a crash that's being cleaned up there.
The Great Resignation isn't slowing down. Job openings hit a new high, and coming up, we'll take a closer look at the industries with the most job postings.
And if you're up with us this morning at this hour and you feel like you got a bad night's sleep, it might have to do with your sleeping position. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic are finding the best way to lay down.